While for Nebraska, this evening marks the beginning of what could be a record-setting season as the Huskers hope to become the first team ever to post 27 consecutive winning seasons. Well, a very pleasant good evening to you, everybody. What a night it is, the beginning of the 1988 college football season. I'm Phil Stone, working with me a man who was all-pro at Penn State. He spent 13 years knocking heads on the NFL, and old friend Dave Rowe. And Dave, the Kickoff Classic traditionally pits two top teams against one another. The question is, why would you want to risk that ranking right out of the chute?
Well, two big reasons, Phil. First of all, you've got a January Bowl in August. Both these teams could be possibly playing for the national championship in January. Secondly, oh, does it make recruiting easy. It's nice to go and say, hey, we played on national TV to kick off the season.
For Texas A&M, they play in a conference, the Southwest, that is accustomed to stopping the run. You have to do it if you're going to be successful in that conference. They have got the talent in 1988, Dave, to do just that. But can they slow down the likes of Nebraska?
Well, that's the big question tonight. 5 linebackers returning for Texas A&M, spearheaded by Roper and Wallace on the outside. But the big question is Batiste and Bob on the inside. They have got to stop it to utilize those talents of Wallace and Mr. All-American John Roper. He is unbelievable. 15 sacks, 104 tackles last year.
Year in and year out, the Cornhuskers from Nebraska seem to find offensive linemen that look like the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. How do they do it? Where do they come from?
Well, they do look like the Trade Towers. It's unbelievable. 65 All-Americans have played for Nebraska, and of that 65, 45 of those All-Americans have been linemen.
Well, it's no secret then that Nebraska has won the nation's rushing title 4 of the last 8 years. Behind that huge offensive line, maybe, Dave, the most versatile quarterback the Huskers have ever had.
Absolutely. Steve Taylor, as he goes, so go the Nebraska Cornhuskers. He can run the ball, great running ability, and wow, can he throw the deep one. A great player. He may be here in December to pick up a Heisman Trophy.
Well, the Aggies, 3 times Southwest Conference champions, going up against the powerful Cornhuskers of Nebraska. And oddly enough, Nebraska a 10-point favorite to win this game. We'll be back after the crowd is on hand here at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Nebraska comes into this ball game ranked number 2 in the AP. The Aggies of A&M ranked number 10. And I don't care who you are, who you're playing, Dave, you better come into a ball game of this magnitude with a pretty fair game plan.
Oh, you absolutely do. There are certain musts that each team has to perform. For the Texas A&M team, they have got to force Nebraska to run wide to utilize the talents of Roper and Wallace. They have also got to be able to pass the football. And when we talk about sustaining drives, field position is going to be a big factor. They are going to have to drive the ball 60 and 70 yards to score. Now, for the Nebraska team, they must get strong play from a young defensive front four. As Steve Taylor goes, so does this game. And also, as Tom Osborne said, hey, we've got half our team as first-time starters. We don't know how good we're going to be.
In a moment, we'll be set to launch the 1988 college football season. We'll be back with more of the 88 Kickoff Classic right after the crowd on hand here at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey for the start of this 1988 college football season. And oh, what a ball game to kick it off with. Jackie Sherrill, Texas A&M. You look at his career record, and he learned under some great ones. Bear Bryant, Frank Broyles, Johnny Majors at Iowa State. Boy, it's no accident why he is successful. And, of course, Tom Osborne learned his football from the great Bob Devaney.
Oh, he did. We met Bob Devaney last night. He still looks wonderful. He looks like he could coach. Of course, Tom Osborne following in that great Nebraska tradition of coaches.
Now you look at the series between these two teams. They have only met 5 times previous. The last meeting 16 years ago. Nebraska victorious 37-7. In fact, you've got to go all the way back to 1959 to find the last time that A&M was victorious. And they had a sophomore halfback in that ball game by the name of John David Crow.
And we saw him here because he again works with Texas A&M. He looks like the same guy that plowed me in pro football. And I think I told him I thought he could still play. He didn't tell me the same thing, by the way.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he said I didn't look like I could still play.
Lane Talbot will kick it away for the Aggies of A&M. Terry Rogers and Dana Brinson back at their own 2-yard line. Terry Rogers wearing the number of his father, who was a legend in Lincoln, Johnny Rogers. So we're set. This crowd at the Meadowlands is on its feet as Talbot lets it fly. Rogers, a yard deep. He's coming out.
Nebraska will start from their own 21-yard line. Steve Taylor will direct the Cornhusker offense. You look at his numbers of a year ago. He is a magnificent quarterback.
Oh, he can do everything. He can pass the ball well. He can run the option fantastic. And there's what he has to work with tonight.
Offensive line, as we said to you a few moments ago, it is a terrific offensive line. Glazer, Nelson, Anderson, Keeler, and Bob Sledge. Nebraska's first-string center, Jake Young, strained a knee last Tuesday in practice before the Cornhuskers left Lincoln. He is out of this ball game. That has forced junior Jeff Anderson, number 59, into the role of starting center. From the eye. The eye back. Ken Clark, the junior from Omaha, is tackled by Dana Batiste. Defensively, Texas A&M up front, they play the 3-4 alignment. Cole, Shanks, and Price, but it is the second group that we'll be paying most attention to tonight.
And there they are, Roper, Batiste, Adam, Bob, and Wallace, and they are considered the top linebacker group in the nation.
And the defensive backs anchored by the left corner, Alex Morris. Second down and 6 from the 25. Coming to the near side, that's Brinson. Taylor wants to go to the right. He's got a receiver out of bounds, I believe, at the 32-yard line. It is Nate Turner, the freshman from Chicago, Illinois.
And that's a confidence pass there, Phil. What he's doing is he's trying to get confidence. Quick out. Taylor drops back, just finds around, just runs a quick out, and it's just to build his confidence. Don't challenge him downfield. Run the ball, pick those short passes, and have a confident quarterback out there directing your team.
Nebraska gets the first down at their own 32-yard line. Split to the bottom of your screen. Morgan Gregory. The give to the far side. Again, it is the I-back, Ken Clark. And he is tackled at the 35.
And we will see outstanding pursuit by both teams. That's what makes these teams play such great defensive football, as they all get to the ball. You'll see backside pursuit from the offside lineman running just to get there. Jackie Sherrill said his team is in the best shape that he has ever seen them, mainly due to the outstanding, amazing heat they had this year.
Nate Turner split wide to the right. Richard Bell, the junior from Altadena, California, to the bottom of your screen. It is Altadena in motion. Again, it is Ken Clark. He is tackled at the 37-yard line. He runs head-on into Aaron Wallace.
Well, you're going to see this is a delay play. It's trying to get him upfield. Now watch the delay. So what you do is you drop back like it's going to be a pass. There's the delay. It's not really a draw. It is draw action, but it's lead action. And there they are, trying to get up in that middle so they don't have to challenge outside the great linebacking core.
Now Nebraska would just as soon like to run between the tackles. They do not want to see Wallace and Roper tonight. It is third down and 4 at the 39. Ball, and it's an incomplete pass. Oh, what a blitz by the left corner, Alex Morris.
In Houston last year, Alex Morris, number 30, had 5 sacks in one game. It's a blitz. Look where he hits Steve Taylor. He could have taken his head off on that play. Tremendous blitz from the outside. He's a cornerback. He snuck all the way up on the line of scrimmage, timed it perfectly, and put the pressure on Steve Taylor.
John Croker, the senior from Henderson, Nebraska, will kick it away. Rod Harris, the lone safety, standing at his own 21-yard line. Good snap. Croker takes his time and lets it go. And it is a good one. At the 17. Harris upended by Morgan Gregory, and upended in a big way at the 22-yard line. So the first time tonight that the Texas Aggies will see the football. And there's the man who will engineer the offensive attack tonight, Bucky Richardson, only a sophomore.
On the run back.
A penalty against Texas A&M on the run back. And instead of starting at their own 22-yard line, they're going to walk it deeper into Aggie territory.
And this is not what Jackie Sherrill wanted for his offense. You have a sophomore quarterback back there who's leading his team. You can see Jackie's a little upset about it. Who did it? We don't do things like that. You can't make mistakes. and beat a Nebraska football team. But he's got a great young quarterback. I don't think Bucky Richardson realizes the significance of this game. He's just out there playing, having fun.
First and 10 from the 11-yard line. Richardson, only man in the backfield, has the football. And that's the fullback, Matt Gurley, the senior from Lamar High School in Arlington. Knocked off his feet by the middle guard, Mike Murphy. Offensively for the Aggies, Richardson at quarterback. He is joined by a veteran set of running backs and receivers. And we will be keeping our eyes on the tailback tonight, Darren Lewis. The offensive line, somewhat suspect. They lost Lewis Cheek, Matt Wilson, and Tony Bartley to graduation. Coming to the near side, it's Lewis. He's across the 23-yard line and stopped there. Leroy Adien on the tackle. Nebraska defensively, Ray Valado, Mike Burry, and Paul Brungard make up that front three. Again, like A&M, an outstanding set of 4 linebackers. And the defensive backs, a good group of defensive backs indeed. That's Lewis. Turns the corner at the 25, dives out ahead to the 26.
And Phil, on the backside of this game, that's number 89. That's Broderick Thomas. He is an All-American in everybody's book. He has got great pursuit. We're going to have a call here. Evidently, there was a late flag. But I want the name of Broderick Thomas will be mentioned all night long.
Dead ball foul. It's a personal foul against the offense.
Oh.
Now, he ought to be smiling. That's Tom Osborne.
No, he never smiles.
What the call was that after the ball was dead on a tackle, that's usually a piling on or someone taking a late shot. But that's just enthusiasm. That's not any dirty play or anything like that. Just enthusiasm in the game. Both these teams are well coached, and they are outstanding schools.
The Aggies will now start from their own 13-yard line. You see Bucky Richardson. Good chance we will see Lance Pavlis, the sophomore quarterback in this ball game. When we make it look at Chris Osgood, Jackie Sherrill is not shy about using this trio of quarterbacks. That's Gurley, the fullback. He again runs behind Jerry Fontenot and Matt McCall, and again it is Murray, the middle guard, on the tackle.
Well, let's take a look at Broderick Thomas. He's number 89. He does a good job in this play. What he has is outside containment. Look at that. Turn the play back inside. That's an excellent play. It doesn't look like he gets on the tackle, but that's a good play. He has to turn that play back inside and depend upon his 2 inside middle linebackers.
3rd down and 17. Richardson coming near side, and he'll be pressured, still on his feet. He lets it fly, and it is intercepted.
Phil, this is one of the ones you can't throw a ball up like that. Bucky just throws it up. See, the nose of the ball is way up in the air. It's just floating out there, and it lets the defensive secondary react very quickly to it. That was Charles Fryer, number 10. When a ball has that trajectory, it's just floating out there. Richardson didn't have any zing on the ball. He was running away, trying to throw across his body.
First down, Nebraska at the 19. Taylor, last second pitch. It's to Clark, and he is swarmed under by the Aggie right side.
Phil, this can do 2 things for you. If you're a Texas A&M fan out there, if you're a Texas A&M player, you get motivated. If you're able to stop Nebraska in this situation, hold them to a field goal try, it tremendously raises the enthusiasm that your defense has. Your offense has made a mistake. They know it. They'll come back with a lot more enthusiasm. Conversely, if you allow them just to drive in their score, it takes a lot to get that offensive unit back up.
2nd down and 9 from the 18. Taylor, boy, can he throw it. Going for it all, and out of the end zone. Pass intended for Richard Bell, the junior from Altadena. Good coverage by Aaron Wallace. What can Wallace cover some territory?
Well, that's why they are the quarterback, the linebackers that they are. That's why they are so great. They're getting national acclaim because they can not only play the run, but they cover well downfield.
3rd and 9 from the 18. Taylor on the keeper. And again, it is Aaron Wallace. Boy, whether it's against the run or the pass, Wallace is everywhere.
Oh, they are. Wallace and Roper, Roper and Wallace. You'll hear a lot about Batiste. You'll hear a lot about the other linebacker in the middle, Adam Bobb. But watch this here. Nowhere to run for Taylor. Look at this. There's the white shirts all around him. They just swarm. 4, 5, 6 guys in on that tackle. That's what they have to do. This has got to be a big emotional lift for Texas A&M if they, in fact, can even get a chance to block this field goal.
The kick is up, and he hooked it to the right side.
So you can watch this kicker. He knows he cooks it. Watch here. There's the kick. Now watch the emotion on him. Oh, no. It hooks to the left. That's one of the things that they do. Soccer kickers have a tendency to hook.
Greg Barrios misses the first opportunity to put his Huskers on the scoreboard. We'll be back. Remaining in the first quarter, we are at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Nebraska a moment ago missed a field goal attempt from 35 yards out. And the Aggies of A&M dodged a bullet.
And now we'll see whether this Aggie team can react to that great emotion. Their defense came in, stopped them. Now they realize they made a mistake. They dodged the bullet, as you said. Now that man's got to take the leadership.
Richardson, only man to the backfield is Darren Lewis. He tries to turn the corner and is knocked off his feet by Jeff Mills of Montclair, New Jersey.
Well, Darren Lewis has got a great running style. A lot of people are comparing him to some of the great running backs that have played college football. He's got real small steps. He's quick, gets into the hole, but he's got such short steps that he can change direction very quickly. We'll be seeing a lot of him tonight.
A gain of 4. It's 2nd down and 6. Richardson wants to put it up again right over the center. It is complete. Brian Ross, the big tight end, and it takes 4 Huskers to put him down. Leroy Etienne, number 47, and Pat Terrance. The middle linebackers are there to lead the charge.
And watch the tail end of this when Ross turns around and sees the flag. Now look, right there he sees the flag. Wait a minute, I got to get going. There's 4 people trying to get him down, as you said.
Ross, the junior tight end from San Angelo, Texas. It's first down. The ball spotted at the 32-yard line. Richardson wants to throw the quick. It's complete. Rod Harris. A year ago, he averaged 15 yards a catch.
And I want to tell you, that's not Rod Harris's strength right there. That's a setup play. What you're trying to do is make that cornerback come up. It's a quick hitch. You throw that thing 1 or 2 times, and all of a sudden, Harris will come out and fake that thing, and he'll burn you long.
Oh, he runs great routes. We saw him last year a few times, David. I tell you, Richardson always knows where Rod Harris is going to be. Richardson, pitch. It's Lewis. Again, tries to turn the corner. Dives ahead. Will pick up a couple. Reggie Cooper, the sophomore strong safety from Slidell, Louisiana.
I want to tell you, one of the joys I had this week was being here with these teams and just seeing the type of players they are. They are great people, both on and off the field. I had more fun with these guys this week than I've had with a lot of pro teams that I've talked with.
Well, there's no question the game of college football has certainly changed over the years, Dave, but the youngsters who play it are the same. Coming to the near side, that is Felton Ransby. Richardson tries the left side, options it across the 40-41 yard line. They'll be short of the first down. Again, it is Pat Terrance, the weak side linebacker from Omaha, who stops Richardson shy of the first down. It'll be 4th down and 1. And in to kick it away, Sean Wilson. And the thing you want to watch from this punter is his hang time. Perhaps another Ray Guy in the making.
Oh, he is. And his dad came from the same school that Ray Guy came from. Of course, Gerald Wilson, the great kicker for Kansas City. I want to clear up something real fast on Sean Wilson. I got a letter from his grandfather that said, hey, I want you to tell the correct facts about him. A great young man with a great dad.
Oh, what a punt. At the 4-yard line, it'll be Brinson. And he is down at the 6.
Well, I told Sean Wilson, I said, in order to talk about you, you got to do something great. You got to give me a 50-yarder. Watch this play. Watch the height. Now, you don't get coverage like this unless you have outstanding height. A 55-yard punt, but it was at least 60 yards in the air. It was way up there.
That backs the Cornhuskers up at their own 6-yard line. 6:17 remaining in the opening quarter. Will return to the Meadowlands in a moment. Here at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. 6:17 remaining in the first period of this 6th annual Kickoff Classic. The Aggies and the Cornhuskers still scoreless, along with Dave Rowe. I'm Phil Stone, and now, David, Steve Taylor and company must start from their own 6-yard line.
Now's when a lot of quarterbacks get conservative down here. Not Steve Taylor, though. He has great confidence in his abilities.
The give up the middle, a gain of 3. Sam Schmidt. First time we have seen the fullback with the football tonight. Dana Batiste on the tackle.
You think you'd like to play nose guard for a college team? Watch this nose guard. His job is to get penetration. Look at that. Great play back into it. That's Jeff Shanks. He's a newcomer there. He plays that very well. I know what that's like, playing that nose tackle. You just don't want to get driven back. You keep that point, and he did a fine job that time.
Now, he's got some big shoes to fill. Of course, the Aggies lost Sammy O'Brien to graduation. Oh, what an outstanding middle guard he was. 2nd down and 8 from the 8-yard line. Near side. Ken Clark, the I-back, has the ball. A year ago, Clark rushed for 356 yards on 64 carries.
And I watched Adam Bobb that time, the other linebacker with Dana Batiste back there. Now watch him. All he's trying to do is take out that lead guard. Bam, he's in there. They just fly in there. Look how quickly they get back up. Look at all the white shirts. They are reacting to the ball extremely well. But now this is where Steve Taylor is at his best. He has no fear of pulling that ball down and throwing a 50-yarder.
3rd down and 6 from the I formation. Taylor looking over the Aggie defense. Rolls right side. Pressure from behind. He is hit, and the ball is on the carpet. Oh, Taylor is decked. John Roper got to him, and Aaron Wallace. What a combination. The Blitz brothers are at it again.
The Blitz brothers, they were coming all the way. He's got one looking him in the face to his left, which he's going to roll. Now he's rolling to his right, our left. Wallace is coming from the backside. Roper, 83 from the front side, and they make a sandwich, and he's the meat in between the bread of Texas A&M.
John Croker, 2nd time he has been called upon here in the first period. A year ago against Oklahoma, what a day. 9 punts, he averaged 46 yards. Back to receive is Rod Harris. End over end. Harris is going to let it bounce, fields it on one hop. He'll have a chance at a return. Remaining in the first period. Nebraska earlier in the ball game got a hold of the football deep in A&M territory, and now this is the Aggies' first possession inside Nebraska territory. From the 34-yard line, it'll be 1st and 10. The Aggies in the I. Lewis and Gurley the backs. Play action. Richardson wants to put it up. Does so. It's caught at the 28-yard line by the tight end Wally Hartley. Boy, Hartley played his high school ball at Broadmoor in Baton Rouge, and the Aggies are heading there soon.
I want to tell you, that was a great catch by that young man. He had to lay out. He caught that thing, looked like a wide receiver. He's 6'5", 245 pounds. You don't expect someone to run and have the grace that he had in that catch.
A week from today, in fact, Texas A&M will face LSU in Baton Rouge. It's Lewis. He's loose at the 20, the 15, and down at the 14-yard line. Charles Fryer, the right corner, the last man between Lewis and Pater, brought him down.
And what a move he put on Mark Blazik, the safety for Nebraska. Watch the quick feet. Now watch Blazik. He's number 23 coming to your picture. Right there. There's Blazik. He's an All-American. Great cutback. We talked about the quick feet. That's what he has. That's what makes him such an outstanding running back.
That's the big fullback, Matt Gurley. I'll tell you, this is Gurley territory. We saw Jackie do it a year ago. You get that ball down close, and you can be pretty sure Matt Gurley's going to get the call. Randall Jobman, backup strong linebacker, makes the stop. That's the situation. 3:36 to play. The clock is running. First period, and we are scoreless. A&M trying to get on the scoreboard. Darren Lewis. Down to the 4, possibly the 3. Boy, what a bit of footwork by the sophomore from Carter High School in Dallas.
Well, that's the moves I was talking about. He stutter steps in there. A lot of running backs take those long strides, and they aren't able to change direction. Watch the feet of number 25, Darren Lewis, into the hole. Now watch right here. He stopped right there. He stopped. Boom. Look how quickly he jumps outside, has excellent balance to get back out, and he's almost in for a touchdown.
It is first and goal, Texas A&M. Richardson option, keeps it himself. The ball popped loose. Richardson recovered his own fumble just shy of the goal line, I believe, or did Nebraska pick it off?
Well, they're waiting to dig down the bottom of the pile.
A&M will retain possession.
Oh boy, that could have been a big one, but the ball did pop out. Richardson didn't want to take the chance to toss that ball out. He elected to carry it, and you'll see when he drops back in here. Now watch, right there he makes the decision. All the way, I'm going to carry it. It's a little bit loose there. The ball pops out, but he falls right back down on it.
Second down and goal. Touchdown, Aggies. The point is good, and Texas A&M has done something few teams were able to do a year ago, and that is score a touchdown against Nebraska.
And you called it Gurley territory. This is just put your head down, get behind him. You know, one of the guys they're running behind, Jerry Fontenot, considered one of their great athletes, an offensive lineman. And this is just power football. Just run behind them, just as strong as you can. There's no fooling them here. It's just power football.
Nebraska, a team that gave up only 15 touchdowns all last year, has given one up here with 2:22 to play in the first period. Matt Gurley, a year ago, he scored 5 touchdowns. He has got number 1 here in 1988. Not a long drive, Dave, only 34 yards following John Croker's punt. But when you're a 10-point underdog, you definitely want to get on the scoreboard first.
Well, it was set up by a couple things. You know, that great defensive stand that A&M had, and also the punt by Sean Wilson, which trapped them back inside the 5-yard line. 2 big plays. Both of them happened to go A&M's way.
Lane Talbot for the Aggies lets it go, and it's a good one. That's Terry Rogers, a couple of yards deep. He's coming out again. Nebraska will begin this series from their 27-yard line. The University of Nebraska has a beautiful campus, so let's take a brief visit on our Visa postcard. And right now it is Sam Schmidt of Big Red, the fullback, who penetrates the right side. He runs in behind John Nelson and Doug Glasser. I'm a little bit surprised, Dave, that we're seeing the Huskers run to the right side. They lost their right side due to graduation. Guard John McCormick and tackle Kevin Leitner.
Well, one of the things you can't do is you can't run away from John Roper, because you run into Aaron Wallace. So you have to run up the middle. They're trying to tighten up in the middle. But let me say one thing about this Nebraska team. They are a team that has been in many, many big games like this. There's no worry on Tom Osborne's face.
Now Texas A&M apparently confused by something the Cornhuskers have done. They call a timeout. It comes with a minute 48 to play in the first period. It's A&M 7, the Cornhuskers nothing. Now you look at Tom Osborne. This is the first time his Cornhuskers have opened a season away from Lincoln since 1983. When they began the season right here, and they began it in big fashion over a team by the name of Penn State. You know anything about that school?
I wasn't in that game. They lost 44-6.
Second down and 7 from the 30-yard line from the eye. Play action. Taylor rolls right, pursued, lets it go. It is complete across the 40-yard line to the tight end Todd Milliken. William Thomas, the sophomore free safety from Amarillo, Texas, brings Milliken to his knees.
And I want to tell you, that was a broken play. That time Taylor rolled out. Milliken came across the field and caught that pass. But it looked as if Taylor was going somewhere else, and all of a sudden got that composure back, found Milliken crossing across the middle and dumped the pass to him. A nice play by Steve Taylor.
And it picks up a first down at the 43-yard line. A minute 25 remaining. Taylor this time comes left side, lets it go sideline, and overthrows Nate Turner.
Well, that young man was one of the coolest people in the press conference yesterday. He doesn't have great stats right now, but he is a great athlete. He has great composure. He knows what he wants to do. And one of the questions that popped up was concerning, you know, do you get a lot of butterflies in a big game like this? He's followed in that. There you can see there are so many things that you can't control. As long as you're consistent, you're going to be good. And that's the mark of a great player. And that's his attitude in this game.
Dana Brinson, the wing back to the near side. There's the quarterback draw. Taylor skips out of one tackle, but he will not escape another. Just across the midfield stripe. Basil Jackson on the tackle, and we've got a flag down on the far side.
This may be against A&M. They may be piling on her face mask because it was thrown right where Taylor was tackled.
It's a personal foul.
Hitting to the head. That's the sign, hitting to the head.
And for the second time in this game, it goes against the Aggies.
Now watch this quarterback draw. You can see right there, all he's doing is just trying to let the defensive lineman come in and engage. Now watch the tail end of this play. Here's the tackle getting him down. Let's see if we see the strike to the head. There's the strike to the head. That's an inadvertent strike to the head. All he was doing was swinging down there, but he did strike him in the head, and that's the call.
A first down at the 34-yard line. Now Nebraska trailing by a touchdown from the I formation. The give is to the I back. Clark crosses the 28 near the 27. Leon Cole, the defensive end on the left side, tackles him.
One of the things that Nebraska coaches said is that Ken Clark came into the preseason and worked as hard as anybody on this football team. He came back with a renewed attitude, real dedication, and that young man has proven that he really wants to play football this year, and he has another year next year.
Well, he was a backup for 2 years for the outstanding Keith Jones, now with the LA Rams. Rodgers and Carpenter now in the backfield. Taylor comes near side and is knocked down. He had Aaron Wallace for an ankle bracelet.
Well, he's lucky he fell down. I was watching Adam Bobb that time. Now, you talk about how a linebacker has to run. Look at the great position. Slide along the line. Don't cross those feet. Back in there. Look at, he runs the length of the field, comes back, and still gets in on the tackle. He's got great lateral movement. That's a sign of a great linebacker. His feet never cross. He slides along the line and then comes back.
A loss of 2, and that will bring the first quarter to a close of this 1988 Kickoff Classic. We'll be back with more of the 1988 Classic right after these messages from your local station. Look at the Budweiser first quarter statistics.
And you can see the statistics there. Rushing, look at that. A&M 58 yards, and they have done what they needed to do to hold Nebraska down to only 32 yards rushing. This is a big series for Nebraska. They are down inside the 30-yard line. Interesting statistics, but very, very balanced.
Third down and 5 from the 29-yard line. 3 wide receivers for Nebraska. The give is up the gut. It's Brian Carpenter.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Osborne go for it in this situation. He's around the 27-yard line. He's going to have a fourth down at about 2. He's going to try, it looks as if he's going to try a field goal, but again, they could come in here and fake the field goal and come back because they're in 4-down territory.
Greg Barrios. He missed from 35 yards in the first period. This one will come from 44 yards. Chris Drennan, Nebraska's regular place kicker, out with a thigh injury. It's down. Barrios lets it sail. And it is perfect. For Barrios, his first field goal ever for Big Red.
One of the big stories, of course, could be Barrios in this game. He came into this game, and an hour before the game, he didn't realize he was going to kick. Now we saw the reaction that he had on the one he missed. Watch this one. His first kick for the Big Red, and it's the first good one he has. Now there's what he wanted.
Well, he spent all of 1986 on the freshman squad. Last year he was redshirted. And there you see the sophomore from Omaha as he gets Nebraska on the scoreboard. 14-14 remaining in the first half. And thus far, Tom Osborne's Cornhuskers trail the Aggies of A&M 7-3. You love that.
Wherever Dalton, Nebraska is, hugs and kisses.
I'll tell you, they start him young in Lincoln, don't they?
Well, this is one of the things Nebraska had to do. They were really shocked. They had to come back and sustain a drive. They did an excellent job on that game, on that drive.
Rod Harris at the 17-yard line gets through the first wave, tries to spin, can't do it at the 28-yard line. Mike Kroll, the sophomore outside linebacker from Sudbury, Massachusetts, on the tackle. Well, for Texas A&M, they will begin from their own 29-yard line.
And I'm sure the coaching staff of Texas A&M is taking them over to the sideline and say, okay, the butterflies are all out. We need to go out. We need to again sustain the drive. Bucky, you need to have a little bit more consistency on the drive. You did a great job. That's what they need to do, to come out and again establish it, to show them that it wasn't a fluke, that first drive.
Richardson appears to have been a broken play. He takes it across the 32. Gary Oliver in the slot. I think Richardson expected him to take a couple of steps. Quick out. And Oliver was on his way downfield.
Well, I think that might have been the setup play. What you do is you fake quick out to that back and allow that corner to come back out, and then you pull it down and throw it long. Only the coordination wasn't there.
Second down and 7. Rod Harris and Gary Oliver down to the bottom of your screen. The pitch goes to the far side. Darren Lewis. Nothing but red jerseys everywhere, and Lewis will be stopped short. Leroy Etienne. He led the team in tackles a year ago, and he was there on that play.
Well, one thing that happens with a football team that has a lot of new starters is maturity as the game progresses. Nebraska seems to be getting that maturity. They're getting good backside pursuit, good point of attack also. They're getting men in there, and they're not having the backside holes. So those players are coming of age quickly in this game.
Harris at the top of your screen. Gary Oliver is wide to the left on 3rd and 8. Richardson steps up in the pocket. Now wants to run. And he'll be short of the first down. Tackled at the 37, maybe the 38 by Willie Griffin, the left defensive tackle from Monrovia, California. So Nebraska has held 4th down and 2.
Now this is just the quarterback trying to find a hole downfield. He was going to go to Harris downfield. He looked at the crossing of his tight end, Brian Ross, coming across, brought it down, felt he had a lot of pressure, and he almost came up with the first down. It was close. He had a chance to hit Ross coming across on a crossing pattern, but didn't pick him up with the pressure.
A 55-yarder, his first attempt. This one is a good one. Taking it to 21 by Dana Brinson. Not much to the 29, maybe the 30.
Well, if Sean Wilson can kick like his father, he'll be there a long time.
A 43-yard punt, a 9-yard return. Nebraska will have the football at their own 30-yard line with 12:07 remaining in the first half. With 12:07 left in the first half. Nebraska has the football, and they'll come from the I formation. Carpenter and Terry Rogers are the running backs. As Rogers skips his way through the left side. Is he leveled by Basil Jackson?
Well, these linebackers know how to hit, and Rogers knows how to run. He takes this ball and he makes a nice misdirection play. You see the lineman, he gets out in front. Now watch when he cuts back. You'll see Basil Jackson coming in there, and he just gets stuck right there at the tail end. But Mr. Rogers comes from a great line of running backs.
Well, when Terry Rogers elected to come to Nebraska, He asked to wear his dad's number, number 20. They had to take it out of retirement so he could do it. First man through, fumble. Carpenter puts it up, and A&M recovers.
One of the things that you want is you want your linebackers close to the action. Watch 23. That's Aaron Wallace. He doesn't get the hit, but he's right there when the ball comes out. A great hit on that play. Looked like it was the safety who came up and stuck him. And Aaron Wallace comes up with a big play. The reason he makes so many big plays is he's always around the football.
Richardson right over the top. It's complete. The tight end's got the football. He's down to the 22-yard line and stopped there. Mike Jones, a junior from Bridgeport, Connecticut, on the reception.
And you can see that Richardson really forced the ball in there. It was right in the middle of coverage. He was standing right in front of him. One of the things that Nebraska did not do on that play is get one of those big linemen with the hands up in front of the face of Bucky Richardson. You have got to stay in front of that quarterback.
First down at the 21. That is Matt Gurley. He has scored the only touchdown in this ball game. Mike Murray and Willie Griffin from Monrovia, California combined to bring Gurley down. Now Jackie Sherrill after his 99th career win tonight. And boy, I'll tell you what, he probably couldn't have picked a tougher opponent.
No, he certainly couldn't. He said if he can just make it to October, I'm sure he'll be a real happy man in coaching.
Oh, I'll tell you what, with the schedule A&M has, that's going to be tough. Richardson lets it fly. Wide open was Rod Harris at the 9-yard line, and Richardson threw behind him.
Well, we had Harris coming across. When I say we have him, watch him here. He's going to do an in pattern. He's just breaking the seam. Now he's wide open right there. You'll see the ball come behind him. The reason was the great pressure by Nebraska. Now this is why it's behind him. Watch Richardson. Quick, he has to get rid of it because he's got a linebacker right in his face. And that's Pat Tyrants.
Third down and 10. Well, if you're a betting man, look for Rod Harris, number 17. In motion, it is the tight end Mike Jones. Richardson, he turns it up, runs into an official is down, and so is Bucky at the 17, maybe the 18-yard line. John Marco on the stop. I'm not sure if Marco got Richardson or the official.
Well, I believe the official may get an assist in this tackle. You can see when Richardson, he pulls the ball down, he's going to run. Now watch this. Bam, right into the back of the official. Well, you know, that doesn't really bother me. I think officials are in good enough shape to get a shot every once in a while.
Scott Slater, the junior from Fort Worth. Most accurate place kicker in A&M history. He lets it go end over end. It's a beauty, and it is no good. Wide to the right. Clock is stopped with 9:49 to play in the second quarter. It's Texas A&M 7, Nebraska 3. We'll be back with more after these messages from Dave Rowe. I'm Phil Stone. We are at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the Raycom Sports and Entertainment Network. Texas A&M scored first. It was fullback Matt Gurley from inside the 5-yard line. And here early in the second period, Nebraska got on the scoreboard, and that is where we stand. It is 7-3 Aggies. Well, that's the official that I'm not sure who wrapped him up. I think it was Dana Batiste or somebody.
Well, he had a terrible pace here, and ref, you don't turn your back on the tackle. You got to keep your legs a little farther apart there, ref.
That was John Marco on the tackle.
Well, that referee just didn't have good form on that tackle. But he sure got a shot in the back. Had to come over for a drink of water.
Well, Jimmy Owens, he was in the elevator at our hotel when we came down. He was talking about how much he was looking forward to getting into this ball game under his belt. What you call baptism under fire. wishbone formation to give. It is Terry Rogers. He'll try the left side. Oh, the Aggies pursue it well. Dana Batiste on the stop.
I'm telling you, Phil, these linebackers are coming after him. Look at this. You see Adam Bob slide up in there. Now watch Batiste. There's no place to go. You got to turn back. And look what he turns back into. Look at 55s in there. 48s in there. Wallace and Roper coming from the outside. They are the heart and soul of this Aggie defense.
Now from the eye on 2nd and 11. Taylor looking for the out pattern. Throws. It is complete to Morgan Gregory. Gregory, the junior from Denver, caught only 6 passes a year ago, but he really figures in to the flow of this offense in '88.
Well, this cornerback gives a little bit too much room on this play. You just cannot play this far back. You can see Roper come from the outside. Now watch how open he is on this play. There's the trajectory of the ball. See the cornerback coming back in? That's Alex Morris coming back in for the hit. He just played too far back. He gave too much of a cushion. Now professional coaches talk about closing speed, and that's what cornerbacks have to have.
A near capacity crowd is on hand here tonight at the Meadowlands. Again from the eye. 1st and 10. Oh, Terry Rogers. He lit the afterburners and got to the 37-yard line in a rush.
Well, he certainly did. It looked like the nose tackle played well on this, and then he just kind of darts through. Now look, there's not really a hole. He plants. Now look, put your head down and just kind of scoot through. You can see just scoots through, and when he jumps for about 3 or 4 yards. Of course, as we talked about his father, Johnny R., superstar. Everybody in Nebraska, and in fact, of course, across the country, remember Johnny R., superstar.
Again from the wishbone. Taylor, option. And again, A&M stacks it up well, led by who else? John Roper.
Roper and Batiste, Roper and Wallace, Roper and Adam Bob. They're all in there tonight. These linebackers are well coached. They slide along the line. They don't make mistakes. When I talk about sliding, you can see that statistic. John Roper, Southwest Conference Defensive Player of the Year. But they slide, and that's what you want to teach young linebackers. Young people that are out there watching like to see what a linebacker is supposed to play. You slide along the line, keeping your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 6 from the 35. Clock is turning. 7:54 remaining in the first half. Taylor blitzes on. He lets it go deep. It's intended for Gregory, and it is incomplete. Derek Ritchie, the junior left corner, step for step with Morgan Gregory.
Oh, and what a play by Ritchie on that. Ritchie has got to watch the eyes of the receiver. Now there's the hit at the tail end. You can see. Now watch this here. See, the receiver is looking back. Gregory's looking back. Ritchie has got to watch his eyes. He can't take his eyes off that wide receiver. The wide receiver has a real advantage.
Well, Batiste in Steve Taylor's face. Ritchie in Morgan Gregory's eyes. And that forces a 4th down situation. 4th and 6. John Croker, his 3rd punt of the ball game. Rod Harris takes a good bounce. A&M's got it. It is Harris at the 18. He brings it up across the 24, out near the 25, and he is smothered there. That stops the clock with 7:36 to play in the first half. So A&M will have the football, and they are 62 yards from pay dirt. We'll return in a moment. For the East Coast, the Goodyear Blimp America from Houston, Texas, piloted tonight by Captain Mark Kynett from Conroe, Texas, a suburb just outside of Houston, Dave.
And Phil, this is the 62nd consecutive year that the Goodyear Blimp has appeared over a college football game.
Is that right? I think the first game that it appeared over, you were a junior at Penn State.
Wait a minute.
A&M has the football. 7:36 remaining in the first half. That's Larry Horton. He is broken free across the 37 out near the 38. And he is tackled there by Charles Fryer, the younger cousin of Irving Fryer.
And one of the things that made this play was a great block by probably their top lineman, Jerry Fontenot, 67. Watch this, gets out and lead. Great kick-out block there. Look at that, just bends them over. Wow, I think I could have ridden through that hole. Boy, that's a great block by Jerry Fontenot. What a great young man. Lafayette, Louisiana, he told me yesterday.
First down at the 40-yard line, out of the I formation. Play action, Richardson looking deep, near sideline. intended for Rod Harris came closer to hitting Mark Blazik. Blazik, a senior strong safety. He is one of 7 walk-ons starting tonight's game for Nebraska. What a walk-on program they have in Lincoln.
Well, that's because they have such an excellent tradition there. Everybody wants to play. Every young man that comes up in Nebraska in the Midwest likes to get a chance to come and play at Nebraska. It's a tradition. And they welcome over 50 walk-ons a year, Phil, that come out there and want to come out for football.
Richardson moving along the right side in red jerseys everywhere, and he'll gain nothing. 50 walk-ons a year at Nebraska.
50 young men that come there and want a chance at a scholarship, and they say, just let me walk on. I just want to have a chance. Now, Etienne is one of those people that leads the team with 75 tackles. He's one of those great linebackers. You can see he's the signal caller. We talked about the great linebackers of A&M. This team also, Nebraska has 2 outstanding linebackers in Terrance and Etienne. They slide the line very, very well.
3rd down and 9. Richardson, 3-step drop, lets it go. Oh my, looking for Percy Waddle to go to the outside, and Percy curled to the inside.
And that doesn't make quarterbacks or coaches happy. That's a miscommunication. That can result in a big play, an interception, something wrong. You have to get the signals. You have to play. You have to play the game as it's called out there.
Sean Wilson, look at that punting average tonight. 2 punts, 49 yards. That is Dana Brinson and Richard Bell, number 21. 6:33 to play in the first half. Good snap. Wilson. At the 18-yard line, Brinson gets the football. Oh, man. Brent Smith upends Brinson.
Wow, this is what you call great coverage. It's not a great punt like the first 2, but that is great coverage. When you're running down full speed, you have got to have great control, and he did on that one.
We'll be back with more of the 88 Kickoff Classic right after these messages from your local station. Bill Stone along with Dave Rowe. And Dave, look who is here at the Meadowlands. Bobby Bowden, the head coach at Florida State, and Lou Holtz, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, and I understand they will be our halftime guests.
They will be our halftime guests. Of course, Bobby Bowden's team is ranked number 1, just ahead of this Nebraska team, and Lou Holtz feels that his team is come of age also, and they're going to have a run at a nice New Year's Eve bowl game.
Carpenter and Terry Rogers are the setbacks. Taylor starts left side, now comes back to the right side. Roper can't get to him, but Alex Morris does.
Well, there's the top 10 according to Associated Press. Florida State, Nebraska, who is here, Oklahoma, Clemson, UCLA. We've got Bowden here, of course. And there's the second part of that top 10. Texas A&M ranked number 10. And you talked about it, Phil. They want to be able to compete and go for a national title year after year. They want to play up there against the top teams every year.
Again from the eye on 2nd and 13. The eye man, it is Terry Rogers. And again, he runs right into that stingy A&M defense, led by Jeff Huff, the sophomore right defensive end.
And Phil, you can hear the popping of those pads. We must be 75 yards from the field, and you can hear the tremendous contact that these players are making.
Yeah, there's Tom Osborne's quote. His players wanted to play this game, and Tom personally scared to hold back that enthusiasm. I'll tell you, they were fired up at practice last night here.
They certainly were.
3rd down and 12 now at the 19. Sending everybody. Taylor releases in a hurry. Dana Brinson's got the football. He's got a first down across the 35, and a flag is down. And I believe William Thomas is going to be charged with face mask.
I think it may be offsides. I think that was what the first call was, because I thought I saw the linebacker shoot from the outside. But what they wanted to do, we have 3 flags down on the play. What they wanted to do is get Brinson out there one-on-one, and they were able to find him on a crossing pattern. Anytime you blitz those linebackers, you take a great chance, because you're bringing those backs out. If they don't get to the quarterback, all those running backs are running one-on-one. Now here's the call. Now someone may have brought them offside. There may have been a flinch on one of the linemen.
We have 2 fouls. We have offsides by the defense.
That's the one I saw.
We have a face mask by the offense.
That's the one you saw.
Penalties canceled. We have a replay of previous spot.
Well, buddy.
Oh, you wonder why there are two of us here?
That's right. Well, there's the hit after the play. Boy, I'll tell you. Ouch, that's got to hurt a quarterback. Let's see if we can see the tail end of this face mask. It had to be in the line because it couldn't be here. There's the face mask. The running back did the face mask. You see the running back? Brinson puts his hand up into the face of William Thomas. That's what the face mask was. He was stiff arming, giving the old college stiff arm, and when he did, he got his hand up into the face mask of the
I don't think I have ever seen that before in the college or the pro ranks. 3rd down and 12 now from the 19. It nullifies a big first down for Nebraska. Brinson is in motion. Taylor is throwing the pass. He is pursued heavily. The pass is caught by Brinson, but it will be short of the first down at the 28-yard line. Again, it is William Thomas step for step with Dana Brinson.
And you think they don't have a lot of respect for Mr. Steve Taylor? They're bringing everybody on the play. They had 8 men on the line of scrimmage that time, and they just flew in there. You also have to have tremendous confidence in your defensive secondary to cover the likes of a Brinson out of the backfield running that one-on-one pattern. You've got to get to the quarterback if you're going to blitz, and Texas A&M has been able to do it.
Look at John Croker's average tonight, almost 45 yards a punt. Good snap. And again, he lets it go. Harris at the 38 reverses his field. Got a good block. Got another good block. Loses a football. The flag is down. I believe Nebraska has recovered. Harchel Road on the recovery.
There's a clipping foul on the return team. The penalties decline because of the fumble. It's Nebraska's ball.
Well, you can see that he carries the ball loosely here. Harris gets in a lot of trouble. He's got great breakaway speed, but look how loosely he carries the ball here when he gets in trouble. You can see the ball just kind of flipping around. It gets knocked out the back. Now he almost comes up with it. Looks as if 24, no, there's 21 Bell, but I don't think he came up with the ball. What a break for Nebraska.
Harchel Road caused the fumble. He also recovered it. In motion is Clark. Brinson's got the football, and he is stopped by Dana Batiste. Dave, you said at the top of our telecast, in order for Nebraska to be successful, they would have to be able to run the ball up the middle, to run at Dana Batiste and Adam Bobb, and to stay away from Aaron Wallace and John Roper. So far tonight, they have not been able to run anywhere with any consistency.
Well, they certainly have. They have not been able to run the football in the middle. And you can see there's the must. We had to get strong play in that front. Had to have Steve Taylor take control, and he really hasn't taken control yet. And they have to get contribution from their 10 first-time starters. That was how Nebraska had to play this game and win. And, of course, for A&M, their big one was that they had to force the ball wide. They had to have great play by the 2 inside linebackers, not the heralded linebackers like Roper and Aaron Wallace. But Adam Bobb and Dana Batiste had to play well and solid in the middle.
You are watching a Texas A&M team that is definitely forcing Nebraska to run wide. So far, Texas A&M has passed the football effectively when they have had to, and they have certainly sustained the few drives they have had. 3:47 remaining in the first half. We'll return to New Jersey's Meadowlands in a moment. Along with Dave Rowe, I'm Phil Stone. It's Texas A&M, a 10-point underdog, leading the Cornhuskers 7-3.
And watch out for Steve Taylor going long on this play. Steve Taylor may pull it down, throw it out there.
Taylor, play action right side. It is caught by Monty Kretzenstein from Gothenburg, Nebraska. Gary Jones, the strong safety, brings him down at the 21.
Well, you want to see an elevated secondary? From the blimp, this is what it looks like. Now, this is the secondary. You can see him react to the play. Look, the coverage right there, sliding back. It's a zone coverage, but they're playing right there, man-to-man. Excellent. Well, that's a great picture. I think a coach would really love to have that shot.
Of course, it might be an expensive game film. 3rd down and 1. And he'll be stopped shy of the first down, I believe.
Wow, he ran into a brick wall up there. Boy, I'll tell you one thing, there was no hole there. And When the running back gets the ball, usually you have a vision, you have a crack and seam that you go for. And that time, that ball, that line just stuffed all the way along. He just ran to the back of his offensive lineman. Well, we're going to have a measurement.
Nebraska beginning its 99th season of college football.
Quite a mark that you can produce 65 All-Americans in 99 years, 45 of them being linemen. Oh, that's close.
Now you talk about a game of inches right there. You saw an example of just that.
Now you can see there's going to be just a brick wall up there. Now watch the running back. There's nowhere to go. He just runs right into him, just stops. Doesn't even get to fall forward. That's Ken Clark.
Clock is running. We are at 3 minutes. 3 minutes remaining in the first half. First and 10 from the 20-yard line. Nebraska has never led. It's 7-3 A&M. Taylor. That's Clark across the 15 down near the 14.
Well, I guess you would consider that a run inside. I thought that time if Clark had broken outside, he had a lot more speed when he went back through the hole. But again, they realized the outside strength of this A&M team, so they cut back inside. And there ticks the clock.
Go Big Red is the chant here at the Motherland. 2nd and 4 from the 14. Taylor, it appears as if he's audibilizing. He sees something in the A&M defense. To the 13, maybe the 12. John Roper on the tackle.
Well, maybe he saw John Roper. Roper was standing right in the middle of the hole when Ken Clark came around. That one didn't get a whole lot. I thought he was going to pull it down and run a quick pass. Usually when a quarterback has a running play called and he comes out and sees that defensive secondary up tight, a lot of times he'll audibilize to a quick pass, cutting across the middle, dump that ball inside, and try to pick up the quick 6.
3rd down and 2 from the 12. That's Clark. And I believe he'll be stopped short of the first down. Now it depends on where they spot it. Dana Batiste bent him over.
Well, they tried a quick count and he was down. They had to get to about the 10-yard line. It's going to be awfully close. Had to get almost to the 10-yard line. It was a little bit behind about the 10.5-yard line. I think they're going to call timeout.
Now we talked about Nebraska allowing only 15 touchdowns all of last year. How about Texas A&M? They allowed only 17.
And they both play excellent schedules.
A&M with a couple of timeouts remaining with 1:12 left in the first half. I want to remind you to stay with us at halftime. Bobby Bowden, the head coach at Florida State, and Lou Holtz, the man who directs the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, will join us live.
And Phil, the big question here is it's 4th down and you've got about a foot to go. Do you pull the ball down? Do you try to tighten them up and pop a pass? If you don't catch it, of course, it goes for naught and the other team gets the ball. If you're going to go to one of your sure plays, you go to a run, you can probably pick up at least a yard. Then you've got another 4 downs to try to get in the end zone. That's the discussion taking place right there now.
Well, you can be sure there will be no field goal in Nebraska's immediate future when you've got an offensive line, a storied offensive line, a line that for 7 of the last 8 years has finished in the top 3 in the nation in rushing. You've got to believe, Dave, they are going to run the football.
And look at there's Tom Osborne. He's saying, wait a minute, Steve, come over here. They brought 3 players in for Texas A&M, 3 linemen, and he had to call Steve Taylor back over. And I think he changed the play when he saw the switch on the defensive scheme of Texas A&M. I think he brought the team back and said, hey, we'll try another play.
4th down and about a foot.
Now what would I do? I'd run the ball.
Clark fumbles it. Texas A&M.
Well, you'll see Adam Bob come in there, but the ball was a bad pitch. Look at that linebacker fill the hole. Tries to get through in there, trying to pull down players, but it was just a bad pitch on the play. Joe Johnson was in there. It was just a bad pitch. You'll see Taylor here never gets the ball out to Clark. It's behind him. He doesn't really have a chance to come up with the football. There's Johnson recovering the football.
With a foot to go, you wonder why Steve Taylor would not have carried it himself. Why risk an exchange? The give is to Darren Lewis. He crashes and spins out near the 20.
Well, that is a question. Of course, the ball really was thrown behind Ken Clark. He didn't really have a chance to get it. A lot of that is caused by the motion of the up back, the lead back into the play.
We have to go back. We're going to be ready to go.
Now, what they're doing there, that's ice that they're trying to cool someone. Someone sprained a finger. They spray that aerosol on there, kind of cool it off.
Second down and 5 now from the 20. Clock rolling, 36, 35 seconds. Again, it's Lewis. He's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Reggie Cooper, of course, all the Aggies want to do is hold on to the football and run out the clock.
Absolutely. You give it to your best back. You say, don't fumble it. Let the clock run down. We're down to 22 seconds. Nebraska cannot stop the clock. And A&M is just content to watch it run. They've already asked the official. They said, do we have to run another play? I don't think that they will have to run another play.
That'll do it.
For that play action, and we will look for it early.
It is not often when you hold a Nebraska football team to 53 yards on the ground in 30 minutes of football.
Oh, absolutely not. And they've run the ball 25 times for that 53 yards.
Well, the only touchdown of this ball game came in the first quarter, and the lumbering fullback from College Station got it.
This is it. You'll see here, Gurley just goes into the line and just, boom, a lot of strength into the line, just a power play. I believe it's Texas A&M's choice on this second half kickoff.
And they have elected to receive. Well, Texas A&M, perhaps one of the toughest schedules in all of college football. Of course, tonight they open against Nebraska. A week from today, they are at LSU. They play Alabama, Oklahoma State, and then Texas Tech. All 5 of those opponents, the last time they played them, they lost to them.
And don't think Jackie Sherrill doesn't know that. Now, of course, Bucky, he doesn't remember that. He's just a young kid. He walked out here. I'll tell you, you have to love this young man. He came out last year for football. He's a true freshman. In other words, he is an 18-year-old freshman coming out of high school.
And he was 2 years the last time Nebraska and Texas A&M met, and the Cornhuskers won that ball game in 1972, 37-7.
And he just came out here and took charge of his team, and they said, hey, wait a minute, he is a great football player, and here he is, the starter.
Well, Jackie Sherrill said coming in, why are we here? Nebraska is established. We came to present our program to the nation. Well, and that is well said. Jackie could easily have dodged this game, but he said if we are going to be compared with the likes of that ball club right there in Nebraska, the Oklahomas, Southern Cal, UCLA, Ohio State, and Michigan, you've got to go out and you got to not only play those teams, you got to beat them.
You certainly do.
That is Rod Harris back at his own 6-yard line, and we are underway. High end over end at the 7-yard line. Here comes Harris to the near side. For 17 meets Leroy Etienne. Man, oh man, Rod Harris may be late for the dance.
Oh, boy. Etienne did an interesting thing right there. He's a starting linebacker. On that play, he never broke down. He was running full speed, and he just ran over Rod Harris. Now watch this play. You're going to see Etienne come from the left side. He's number 47. He doesn't even break down. He just runs right through him. Watch there. There's the blur. Bam. You can see that's a decleater. Both cleats up in the air.
A decleater?
Yeah, that's what we used to call the great hits, when you can see both the bottom of their cleats. Wow, what a shot.
Appears to be a shoulder. Rod Harris will be helped off the field. I'll tell you what, he's a split end that Jackie Sherrill's going to need. First down and 10 at the 20-yard line. The Aggies will come from the I formation. Boy, take a look at average yards on first down. A&M over 6. That's Darren Lewis, and he has turned around in his tracks.
And Phil, now's when you see the second half, the halftime adjustments that'll be made. You'll see what Texas A&M saw in Nebraska, the way they think they can attack in this second half. You'll also see the way Nebraska feels that they're going to have to attack, and they're going to have to stop this Texas A&M team. So now's when all those little adjustments that are talked about at halftime take over.
2nd and 9 from the 21. Again, it's Lewis. A flag comes sailing in. Lewis moves it out across the 22. Pat Terrance, the weak side linebacker, on the tackle. Terrance, a sophomore from Millard North High School in Omaha.
And this is almost assuredly going to be a call against the offense. The decision here is whether to take the play. There was very little gain on the play. Now that was interesting. A&M is clapping. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Well, the officials, led by referee John Sophie, the umpire James Owens, talk about a depleter. He was depleted in the first half. Oh, he ran headlong into John Marco of Nebraska. Owen had his arm bandaged, and he is all right.
Well, let me clear up for our fans out there. What that was a holding call against A&M. But it also was a late hit by Nebraska, so they negate each other, and they'll play the down over. Now there's a mark off the first penalty. That's the hold. And now they should turn around and do the dead ball penalty and march back off the yardage for the late hit.
And you are exactly right.
So A&M really wins in that play.
On the defense, automatic first down.
Well, it's an automatic first down now, and it comes at the 26-yard line.
Now they haven't moved the yardsticks, and they better turn around and realize that they've got a second down marker.
I'm not so certain that's the.
It's got to be a first down. It's an automatic first down on a dead ball foul. Well, there's the referee on the right side of your screen.
They've got it. I was going to say I'm not sure that the chain gang knew what's going on. Now we've got it. First time Nebraska has been penalized all night. Richardson comes to the near side. Oh man, there is nothing there but Big Red. Mike Murray and Leroy Etienne.
And I think Jerry Fontenot blew his block on that play. He's supposed to pull here and pick up number 47, Leroy Etienne, and he misses him. You can see him come back inside, and quarterbacks, Bucky Richardson, really got stuck. That's something that doesn't happen to Fontenot very often. He's a very, very consistent football player.
Second down and 10. Give to the only man in the backfield. That is Larry Horton, and again Nebraska shuts it down.
And Phil, one of the people that we haven't called a lot tonight, his name is Broderick Thomas, number 89, an All-American. And he shows why he's an All-American on this play. Stick him, shove him back into hold, use his body, play off, keep the balance. That's an excellent play by Broderick Thomas. You know, he threw a shot put. They have a test now where they test your upper body strength. He threw a shot put 34 feet seated. That's an unbelievable strength.
Pitch comes to the near side. Again, it's Horton. He turns the corner, crashes into two Nebraska defenders. And he's out near the 34-yard line. Reggie Cooper, the sophomore strong safety, was the first man to get to Horton. He'll be shy of the first down. It is now 4th and 3. Brinson and Richard Bell back at their own 25-yard line, awaiting the punt from Sean Wilson. Boy, Wilson has had tremendous hang time tonight.
Well, one of the big plays was the time he locked them back inside the 5-yard line.
Not particularly a good punt. Fielded at the near 22-yard line by Bell. He gets a yard, maybe 2. Down at the 34 by Aaron Wallace.
Now in the NFL, you wouldn't have your linebackers covering on kicks, but they do in college football.
12:22 remaining, third period. The Aggies continue to hold on to their 7-3 lead. Moon to me, Dave. This is a Nerd Jersey moon over the Meadowlands here in East Rutherford. Boy, what a beautiful night. Temperature in the mid to high 70s. And here come the Cornhuskers. 12:22 remaining in the third quarter. Brinson split wide to the left. He's in the slot out of the I formation. Taylor rolls left. Now will come back to the right side. Got nobody there. He's going to have to take it himself. John Roper. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the Raycom Sports and Entertainment Network. With Dave Rowe, I'm Phil Stone. We are at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Matt Gurley's touchdown in the first period. It was countered by a John Croker field goal by Nebraska in the second quarter, and that has been it. 7-3 A&M. And that'll go against Nebraska.
Ouch, and you don't want to do that. This is just an off. Milliken just jumps offside just ahead of the count. You can see him on the right side, just comes off. That costs the team 5 yards. That's a foolish penalty. It was a running play all the way.
Dana Brinson. Morgan Gregory checking into the ball game, heading for the sidelines. Jamie Warden, the senior wingback out of Scotts Bluff, Nebraska. Brinson heading to the top of your screen. Morgan Gregory to the bottom. Again, Nebraska comes from the I. Short drop. Pass is tipped by Roper, intended for Gregory.
Roper was so far in the backfield and jumped so high. Now we can see this. We'll see it on the right side of your screen. You see Roper there. He's in the up position. Look at this. Good penetration. Jumps, gets his hand up. You know, they say he can jump onto a 54-inch table flat-footed. Now that's some vertical leap.
And he's only 6'2". Weighs 225 pounds. Now there's a pretty fair compliment from his head coach, Jackie Sherrill. There is no doubt about it. Roper may be the best linebacker in the nation. Taylor wanting to audibilize. Jamie Warden, wingback, can't hear him. Taylor steps up again. Now he may have running room.
Bill, one thing that Taylor did on that play is he didn't panic. You'll see the pressure coming from the right side of your left side of your television set. Now watch, he doesn't panic here. He picks up the vision of his blocks. There's a good block on Batiste. He puts his head down. He knew exactly how far he had to get. That is a great play by a quarterback to have that just confidence in that pocket, not to get panicky.
Steve Taylor now, 7 carries, 21 yards. There's a thrown downfield. It is incomplete at the 26-yard line. Alex Morris stepping up nicely in front of Morgan Gregory. With that rush a moment ago, Taylor surpassed Turner Gill's school record for most yards rushing by a Nebraska quarterback. Steve Taylor now with 1,331.
A big down here for Nebraska. They need to sustain this drive. I'd love to see him during that play action into the line, freeze those linebackers and run one of those backs out of the backfield and pick them up one-on-one coverage in the secondary.
Ken Clark across the midfield stripe. Dana Batiste on the tackle.
Well, now it almost compounds it because it's third down and about 6 yards. You have got to freeze those linebackers. If they keep on coming through like they have, and we've called the names of those linebackers, Roper, Wallace, Adam Bob, and Batiste. We've made them national heroes tonight, but they have played outstanding football. They're playing behind those 3 up front linemen who are, it's their job just to stick that offensive line and let those linebackers rove, and they really have done a job tonight.
Third down and 6. Taylor hit as he releases the ball. It is complete. Caught by Morgan Gregory. Gregory only his 2nd reception tonight. He had only 6 all of last year.
And this is good pressure by the outside. You can see there's Roper going around the outside. Now what Taylor has to do is step up a little bit, but he finds his wide receiver. That's the first time he's looked downfield for that quick crossing pattern. It's been open a lot. It has to be open if those linebackers are blitzing every play.
1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. Nebraska is on the move with 10:09 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Taylor again, the short drop. It's complete again. That's Nate Turner, and he is out of bounds at the Aggies' 25-yard line.
And you can see how the offensive tack has changed. That's the quick action into the line. There's the quick action. Now he comes back out. Now see the linebackers frozen up in there? The linebackers are coming up looking at that play action. That pass has been open a lot tonight. You've got to utilize and capitalize on what Texas A&M is giving you.
Another 1st down for the Cornhuskers at the 25. Sam Schmidt on his feet at the 15, the 14, and tackled there. Again, Nebraska 1st down.
And Phil, this is where Nebraska made that big mistake just before halftime. They were in a similar position, driving for a touchdown, and fumbled the ball on a 4th and 1. I'm sure Tom Osborne said, listen, we're not having any more of that. No mistakes. Mistakes will kill you.
Taylor in trouble, hit from behind, and he is sacked for the 1st time tonight. It is Aaron Wallace.
Have we mentioned him tonight, Aaron Wallace?
About every other breath.
Now watch Roper. He's coming from the other end. Look how quick the start he gets. Look how quick he's in there. He chases him up. There's Mr. Wallace on the backside.
Oh.
Well, they are just blitzing every time. It's a 7-yard loss. You've got to pull that ball down and quick dump it to those backs.
Well, last year, the Aggies had 45 sacks. Roper and Wallace combined for 27 of them. 2nd down and 18. And here they come again. Taylor rolls right, lets it go, and that made the intentional grounding. No flags anywhere, and there were no receivers anywhere in sight.
Well, we talked about how close they were up in the line of scrimmage. Jackie wants intentional grounding. Look at him. Hey, there's not a question about it. Maybe we can look from the air and see what that play is like. From the Goodyear blimp, let's look at that. Look at the linebacker. See him shooting up in there? Look how quick they're coming on them stunts. And Taylor doesn't even have time to bring the ball down. Now that is close to intentional grounding. Look, there's not very many people around where the ball bounced.
Tell you what, the closest receiver was in Lower Manhattan. Again, quick release. It is up in the air and incomplete. Brinson had the football, and Gary Jones nailed Brinson in the chest.
And let me tell you, number 83 was back there too. You talk about inflicting pain. This has got to hurt. Look at Roper. Just a straight shot. Taylor's out of control, and again, Wallace and Roper make a sandwich out of Taylor.
And Taylor is still down.
Now she has taken some great, well, for Texas A&M, he's taken some great hits. That man, John Roper, and Aaron Wallace have sandwiched him twice. Now watch here. You can see he doesn't have any time. There's Roper. Look how quick he's there. Bam. Wallace and Roper just smash him.
Taylor's going to come out of the ball game. Jerry Godowski, the junior from Fremont, Nebraska, has come in, and you talk about inexperience. He has not had many snaps. 18 carries in his career in Nebraska and only 2 passes.
Well, that's quite a nickname, the Blitz brothers, for Roper and Wallace, and they have been that. A&M has elected in this game, their game plan is to put pressure on Taylor, to get him every time. I don't care how many times he's in there, you're going to get pressure on him. And here comes Barrios to kick a field goal.
4th and 18. Godowski will hold. Good snap. Barrios lets it sail. And he is on the mark. Greg Barrios, who was brought along on this trip pretty much to watch Chris Drennan, has been forced into the fray, and he has done well. 2 of 3 thus far tonight. That clock's to stop with 8:49 to go. It is A&M now by 1. We'll be back after these messages from Mazda. Here at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and you look up at the Goodyear blimp, America, from Houston, Texas, skippered tonight by Captain Mark Kynette. from Conroe, Texas.
And I want to tell you, I flew in that blimp one time.
I heard you took actually control of it.
I actually did take control. It was amazing.
There's Rod Harris. He is out of this ball game with a dislocated shoulder, and he is the man that A&M has back for just about all of their kickoffs and punt returns. There is Steve Taylor. He had the wind knocked out of him. He will return. So Shane Garrett, 5'11" sophomore from Crowley, Louisiana, standing back at his own 4-yard line. Awaiting this kickoff by Nebraska. At the 17-yard line, it is Steve Lofton. He'll bring it out across the 27 near the 28, where he is tackled. So Texas A&M will have the ball with 8:43 remaining in the third period. Let's take a close-up look now at the Texas A&M campus on our Visa postcard. Bucky Richardson. Intercepted for the second time in this ball game. It's Tim Jackson, the senior from Dallas, still on his feet at the 27 near the 26 and tackled there. And Nebraska has a chance to take a lead.
Phil, one of the things that Bucky Richardson has got to realize is that you have got to look off the secondary. In other words, when you come back, you don't zero in on a wide receiver that you picked out to throw the ball to. That time he zeroed in on him, threw it, and Nebraska reacted very quickly to it and intercepted that football. Perhaps we can see Richardson on this play. Now see how he zeroed right in, right there. He's looking at his receiver, zeroes right in. Texas steps right in front of the ball. You've got to look off. In other words, you've got to look to another receiver and out of the corner of your eye come back to your primary target. But you learn that with experience, and sophomores a lot of times don't have that experience. He's a great quarterback, excellent leadership, and it's something that he's going to learn. Tim Jackson read the eyes of the quarterback all the way, stepped in front of the intended receiver and took the ball down.
Now the Cornhuskers have a veteran defensive secondary. Fryer, the senior from Burlington, New Jersey. Tim Jackson, of course, a senior. And over on the left corner spot, Lorenzo Hicks, also a senior from Kansas City, Missouri. So if you're Bucky Richardson, you're throwing into a secondary who has been there before.
They certainly have. And there's always a big statistic in the game, and that's turnovers. 3-2, and 5 turnovers is a lot in a football game. Of course, this is the first game of the season.
Nebraska has never led. They trailed 7-0, 7-3, and now 7-6 with 8:31 to play in the third. That's Clark inside the 15-yard line. Jeff Shanks, the middle guard, tripped him up.
This is misdirection power football. You see those big linemen getting out in front of there? There's Keeler and Nelson, Glazer getting out in front of them, and they just plow around there. We talked about that great strength of the Nebraska linemen. They have great strength. They come here and they kind of redshirt for a couple of years, lift weights, put on 30, 40 pounds, then become those great linemen.
Second down and less than a yard out of the wishbone formation. The give is to Clark. Taylor kept it. He is finally tackled by Aaron Wallace. Boy, Clark carried the fake nicely into the center of that line.
He really did, and that's why he was able to turn the corner. It is enough for a first down. He only had to pick up 2 yards, but the play fake into the line, that's what freezes those inside linebackers and enables you to get wide. Taylor looks like he's fully recovered from that shot he took earlier.
This is only the third time Nebraska has started in Texas A&M's end. The last 2 times they missed a field goal and fumbled it. 7:30 to play, third quarter, again from the eye. Taylor to Clark, inside the 10, near the 5.
Bill, there's one of the plays that has worked for Nebraska with good success because it's run off a fake pass action. What you do is you come back like you're going to fake a pass and hand to that running back. He zips up the middle and allows your offensive lineman to engage the defensive lineman and get him turned. If you've got a running back with good vision into the hole, he finds that little seam and he's able to squirt through.
Second down and 3 from the 5. Again, Clark hit at the line of scrimmage, spins maybe to the 4. O'Neal Gilbert, senior defensive left end on the tackle.
And Adam Bobb, we've talked a lot about him tonight. He's hitting that lead back. You can see him, number 24 in there. He is getting handled in there. That's number 76, John Nelson. And that's an excellent block by John Nelson to turn Adam Bobb in there and just to kind of turn him, give a seam. You get that matchup, you get that even matchup, you have to give the block to the offensive lineman.
Go Big Red is the chant here at the Meadowlands, where 58,000 plus have gathered to watch the 6th annual Kickoff Classic. Taylor. He never had any intention of handing that ball off. Dana Batiste on the tackle.
No, he didn't. This is power Nebraska style football. One thing interesting, it's 4th down. They have enough room to make a first down if they get to the 2-yard line.
That's Dana Batiste.
You're going to see a big line change here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Nebraska call a timeout in this situation, only because they're down there. They've got 4th down, 1 yard to go. You don't want to make a mistake.
They've only got about 10 seconds left on the 25-second clock. They're going to have to get this one off in a hurry. Taylor finally sees it. Taylor dives. He doesn't get it, I don't believe. The officials are going to stop the clock.
Billy only had a foot to go, and that's an interesting call. I would have called a timeout.
Yes. As Taylor approached the line, he saw that the 25-second clock was ticking dangerously close to expiring. And that's Jeff Anderson, the backup center. And once you get past Jeff Anderson, I don't know who the Cornhuskers have, because their number 1 center, Jake Young, went out last Tuesday with a strained knee.
We're going to have a measurement here also, because that ball is awfully close to the 2-yard line. He made it by a mere few inches.
Well, Anderson is still down at the 1-yard line, and behind him, in checking our 3-deep charts, Roger Fitzke, a 6-foot junior from Harvard, Nebraska.
He'll have the biggest snap of his Nebraska career here. The one thing that happens many times with a young quarterback and a new center and a quarterback is that you miss the snap. You can see there's not much penetration there. Taylor really gets that on his own. He barely fell forward enough, but you were right, he had to hurry. Now a lot of pressure on the new center to get that ball up, make a good snap.
It is Roger Fitzke in. From the I formation, Taylor tries. Man, he got nothing. The Aggies shut him down, led by the charge of Cole, Shanks, Price. Batiste was in there. Adam Bobb came over the top.
Boy, this is nowhere to go. I thought he almost mishandled this snap. You can see the ball. No, he got it clean. He's just going to dive over, but there's no diving over. That's an avalanche of white jerseys in there.
Tom Osborne, he has averaged 10-plus wins a season since becoming head coach at Nebraska. Boy, that is saying something.
Well, do you keep on pounding up the middle, or do you pull it out and try to go wide?
Second down and goal. That's Clark.
Bill, that's the difference between that quick hitting play where the running back doesn't have the time to find the seam in there, the hole, and the one that worked. The difference is that he got the ball deeper in the second, deeper back behind the quarterback, and he was able to find that seam. He was able to look at it.
Well, Nebraska, it appears, is going to go for 2, and there is an interesting rule change in college football this year.
Well, there certainly is. The defensive unit can score on a point after this year. If they're able to pick the ball up, they can run 99 yards on a fumble. They can run 99 yards and they can score.
Taylor's rolling right, throws. It is incomplete. The pass intended for Richard Bell, and he was open. Taylor simply overthrew him. Well, here's a guy, number 21, a year ago, averaged 23 yards a reception.
Well, you can see Taylor here never really gets control of this ball. It flips it. You can see the white stripes, the way they're kind of wobbling. That shows that the ball really never had the zip to make it. You were right, he was open, but Taylor did not get the ball. He just didn't deliver the ball there.
4:32 to play. It took him a while, but Nebraska has taken its first lead of the evening. We'll return to the Meadowlands with more in a moment.
And make the cutoff his up back. He's able to change direction. That's what I was talking about. When you give it to him deeper in the hole, he has better vision. Now this is the 2-point conversion, and you can watch the trajectory of the ball. Watch the stripes of the ball. You'll see when Taylor throws it. See the way the ball's kind of wobbling coming out there. It really never has any zing to it. You see the effort there by the receiver, Bell, but he really didn't have a chance at it.
Ken Clark, 16 carries, 49 yards in the game. Keep in mind, in the entire first half, Nebraska had only 53 yards on the ground. It appears as if that Husker ground assault is gearing up.
Well, it is gearing up, and it's important now if you're a Texas A&M fan out there. You know, the momentum has swung back to Nebraska. Now they're taking control of the game. They've had 2 long drives, and now A&M has got to answer the call. They have got to be able to drive the ball and sustain a drive.
Tom Jenke lets it go. Short end over end kick. Shane Garrett's got it at the 9.
Well, you think Jenke doesn't get excited on this? A 30-yard return. Excellent cut right back here against the grain. Now watch the way he picks up his blocker. This is a good move by a young running back. Look at this. Sets up his blocker right there, gets right behind him, and picks up every yard he can pick up.
From the I formation, it comes to the near side. That's Larry Horton. Leroy Etienne.
You can see this offensive line's not getting quite the push that they got earlier. Good move there by Nebraska's right defensive end to get upfield. Good penetration there. That's Paul Brungart. He's just a sophomore.
Now Nebraska has owned the 3rd quarter of play. Still 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. That's Horton again. He moves it out across the 42 near the 43. And again, that defensive front line of the Nebraska Cornhuskers beginning to take charge, and that is somewhat surprising, Dave, since the Huskers lost all 3 of their down linemen from a year ago: Neil Smith, Tim Rother, and Lawrence Pete.
Well, one of the things that happens is speed will keep you in a football game for a long time, but your size is something that can wear on you.
Good point.
And Nebraska's got great size in that front line.
3rd down. That's Bucky. He's got the touchdown and rolled out of bounds at the Nebraska 49.
Well, he got an excellent drop by his fullback that he faked to. Watch this here. You'll see the fullback that he fakes to right there. Now watch this pickup right there. Boom, there's the first block. That's the up back that he fakes to, and now he's around the corner and picks up the yardage. It's an excellent play. Good call, good selection, very safe play for a young quarterback. But he's got to throw the football. He suffered that interception, and I'm sure that's got him down a little bit. But quarterbacks have got to have that confidence that they can come back and throw that football.
Play action. Richardson rolls right. He is pursued. Lets the ball go, and it is almost intercepted. Broderick Thomas, the senior from Houston's Madison High School, was in Richardson's kitchen.
Well, when you run a 4.76 40-yard dash, you're 6'3", 250 pounds, as Broderick Thomas is, the right end. You're going to see him. You're not running away from him. He runs a 4.76 40-yard dash. That's almost back speed.
Broderick Thomas, I think Feels perhaps he heard a little bit too much about Roper and Wallace, and he said yesterday, hey, I'm here too. Roper and I may be friends off the field. We went to different high schools in the Houston area, but on the field, I'm here too. That's Horton. At the 44, and a flag sails in as he is rolled out of bounds by Reggie Cooper.
Oh, that may be holding. That is holding. It's holding against Texas A&M. I believe that could be Gurley that was called for holding. He had a very important block on this, and the flag was thrown late.
Still second down.
Holding on the offense, still second down. 2:59 remaining in the third period. Along with Dave Rowe, I'm Phil Stone. Texas A&M took an early lead. Nebraska, with a couple of field goals and a touchdown here in the third period, has taken a 12-7 lead. Richardson tripped up. Paul Brungart.
He's had several good plays. Paul Brungart, number 95. He just kind of swatted at the quarterback, knocked him down. A big question mark coming into this game. He's just a sophomore.
Third down and 27 yards to go from the 34-yard line. Richardson scampers out to the right, pursuit from the backside. He'll run it across the midfield stripe. He'll be way short of the first down, but he picked up a lot. Or Broderick Thomas.
He was haunting him all the way. You'll see Thomas is on the right side. Now watch, it's a switch move inside where they change assignments. Now here goes Thomas. You think he doesn't know he's right behind him? Bucky said, you got me last time, but well, that's great play by a linebacker to be able to run that much. You know, an interesting comment that Thomas made this year. He said, nothing is more important to me than this season. He said, this is a season I have focused on. I've given all my efforts. And they said he was just a demon in preseason. He worked as hard as anybody.
Now we've got a flag down, and it's going to go against Nebraska. One of the down linemen, I think it was Mike Murray, the middle guard, made a critical mistake. Still not enough for the first down, and A&M may decline the penalty.
Well, I don't know. This is a tough call. It's 5 yards. It'll give Sean Wilson the angle for the corner. I think you got to take that 5 yards. You just don't want to create another one. You create another one right here, it's going to be a first down. Wouldn't that be you'd get the Bonehead of the Year award on that one.
Of course, the reason I surmise they may decline the penalty, it moves that ball 5 yards closer to the end zone if Wilson really catches hold of one. Now he lets it go over the head of the defender, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, what happened on that play is that Wilson got rushed tremendously up the middle and had to change the angle of his kick. He just couldn't kick a straight ball where he could get it real high. He had to run a little bit and then bring the ball down and kick quickly. Now watch this. You'll see the pressure up the middle. This is not a normal kick. Now look right there. See, he has to change that movement. Now this is just a line drive kick, and it carries all the way into the end zone.
So with 1:20 remaining in the third quarter, the Cornhuskers lead the A&M Aggies 12-7 here on the Raycom Sports and Entertainment Network. From the wishbone, only the fourth time we have seen Nebraska run from it tonight. Option near side. Taylor now looking back to the left. Rose, Dana Brinson. Oh, he drops the football.
The play action fake into the line held the linebackers just like Taylor wanted to do. Right there, the play action, you can see out there, he rolls, finds Brinson. Now watch this. You talk about a long walk back to the huddle. Oh boy, that's a long walk back to the huddle. And Brinson has made some great catches today. Watch here, watch Brinson. You know he's got to be upset about this. This is very uncharacteristic of him to drop one right in the old breadbasket.
2nd and 10, this time from the eye. Fumble. Taylor picks it up. Now throws. It's caught. Taylor turned a loss of a couple into a gain with a completion to Richard Bell.
Well, we can see here he never gets the snap, but I believe that's the original center back in there. That's Jeff Anderson back in there, so that's no excuse. He's been on the sideline. But a good improvising here by Taylor. Surprising none of his offensive linemen were downfield on that play.
Closing the final 39 seconds of the third quarter. Boy, this has been every bit the game we thought it would be.
Big play here for Nebraska as they end this third quarter. 3rd down and 1. They don't want to give up the football.
Clark. He's got the first down and more.
Well, we'll see Clark on this play. You'll see the stuff by the linebackers, and once they get the play right there, Clark jumps over top and breaks into the secondary. Now see, once he's in the secondary, those linemen have got to get out of his way. You know, what they were doing is he ran right at the back of his own offensive lineman. They were so far downfield, they got to get out of the way, let that man have a little bit of room. But that's really the first big play that Nebraska has broken on the ground, and it's by Ken Clark, number 32.
That's the end of the third period of play, and the Sea of Red comes to its feet here at the Meadowland. Nebraska leading A&M 12-7. We'll be back right after these messages from your local station. Scored only 1 tonight, and they have made it stand. They lead it 12-7. And now let's take a look at our third quarter stats brought to you by Stroh's.
And I think the big difference has been the running of Nebraska. They have now run for 129 yards. They seem to be taking control. They really have run the ball a lot better than they did the first half. First half, they were averaging less than about 2 yards per carry. You better sharpen that pencil there, Jackie.
Steve Taylor, 8 for 18 in the passing department for 80 yards. That's Clark in motion to give. This is halfback option. And Richard Bell is going no place. Dana Batiste on the tackle. Eastern, the airline to New York. Along with Dave Rowe, I'm Phil Stone. 14 minutes and 19 seconds to play here in the ball game. 2nd down and 15 from the Nebraska 49. Terry Rogers.
And Phil, what happened on that play is that they neutralized the linebacker. Watch on the right of your screen. You'll see the neutralizing of the linebacker right there. You see Wallace, he got blocked and allowed Rogers to get out into the open field, and that's where he utilizes his speed. It's just a good play by Terry Rogers, but they're neutralizing those great linebackers. Those linebackers have played well tonight, but now on that play, for example, Aaron Wallace, 23, really got handled.
Schmidt and Rogers are the setbacks. In motion, it's Bell. That is Schmidt, the fullback, first man through, and he tries to run up behind John Nelson and Doug Glazer.
And there was no denying that that was a running play. I looked at the line play. Everybody had about 300 pounds on their hands and about 5 pounds on each foot. They were going straight ahead. There's no denying what Nebraska is going to do right now. They're going to try to run the football, control it down here, get behind those big linemen, Keeler, Nelson, Glazer, Sledge, and of course Jeff Anderson, the new center, and drive the football.
Taylor at the 9-yard line. It is caught.
Just when I thought they were going to run it, they passed it. But I thought Nebraska was, I could just feel the tempo that Nebraska was starting to run the ball and control the line of scrimmage. And Taylor just brings that ball down, and what a great catch coming a crossing pattern. Good fake into the line, but they're doing a lot more play action passing.
And for the second time in the ball game, Nebraska, I believe, is going to go for 2. Keep in mind their regular point after man, Chris Drennan, is out with a thigh injury. And now Steve Taylor wants to call a timeout. He'll head over and talk it over with Tom Osborne.
We'll see this play. Watch the play action into the line. Right there's the play action. Taylor rolling out to get away from that pressure that he sustained all day. And what an excellent catch. Good vision to get downfield. Sees that line. Good determination. You can see that Milliken is just driving in there. He's got good downfield speed, but he's also got great size. He's 6'3", 235 pounds. So when he catches the football, he doesn't get knocked off his feet very easily. In fact, carries a tackler for about the last 4 or 5 yards in for the score.
Now Nebraska out in front 18-7. They have scored a touchdown here in the 4th period. You look at the winningest active coaches in NCAA Division I. Number 3 is Tom Osborne. And in the number 11 spot at the ripe old age of 44 is that man, Jackie Sherrill. Tonight, hoping to get his 99th career victory. It may have to wait. Taylor, the pitch to the near side. Ken Clark going for 2. He's got it.
You can see this is just blow him off the line football. There's Keeler coming out 65. He's the lead block. Good sustaining block by Keeler just to drive his man off the line of scrimmage.
Nebraska has come alive here in the second half with 17 points. They have taken a 20-7 lead. Longest winning streak in Division I football, 8 in a row. Certainly that streak is in jeopardy here tonight. Nebraska with 17 second half points. They have scored every time they have touched the ball in the second half. Tom Jenke to kick it off. He lets it go. It'll be Shane Garrett at the 3. Mike Kroll on the tackle.
Well, Phil, you can't have a bigger drive if you're a Texas A&M Aggie. Right now, they have got to sustain a drive. They've only run 10 plays in this second half. To 26 for Nebraska. That's the difference. They have not been able to sustain anything on the ground or in the air. They just have not come out and offensively moved the ball. And you can only call on your defense so many times.
Bucky Richardson lets it go. Throws and hits the middle guard, Mike Murray, right in the face mask. Richardson now 4 of 11 for 34 yards. Of course, coming into this ball game last year as a true freshman, by that I mean he was not redshirted. He was right out of high school a year ago. He hit only 36% of his passes. I suppose that's what you call a learning process, huh, Dave?
Well, it is, but he hasn't completed a pass in his last 6 attempts, and that's the biggest statistic.
Lets it go. And sends a one-hopper downfield. Pass intended for Percy Waddle, the junior split end.
Well, he never really quite got his feet up underneath him. Watch here, he's getting a little bit jittery back in there because right now Nebraska is teeing off. Now see, he never really gets his feet up in there. See how quickly he goes down? That's not the way a quarterback normally throws the ball. You've got to set, get your balance, and strike that ball forward. That's why the ball was not complete. Need to calm down in there.
3rd down and 10. Grabbed from behind and thrown down by Broderick Thomas.
See, again, he's getting flushed out of the pocket. He's getting a lot of pressure. Now, what you need to do in this situation is pull the ball down, set back up quickly. They want you to run in 3rd down and 10, 11 yards to go. They want you to run because they know they can quickly react. When you have the speed of Broderick Thomas, you can make up ground in a hurry.
This is Sean Wilson. His 6th punt of the night. Short. Dana Brinson's got it at the 39. He fumbles the football. It's It's recovered by the Aggies.
Phil, if anything will motivate an offense, this is it. I was surprised he caught the ball. The defense was covering so quickly. Jan Snow recovers this football. You can see it bouncing around there. He's number 2. But I was surprised that he really didn't fair catch that, because you called it right off. It was short.
Richardson, play action. He lets it fly. And it is almost intercepted. Flag is down back at the line of scrimmage. Pass was intended for Cornelius Patterson. Tim Jackson, the free safety, the senior from Skyline High School in Dallas.
There's only 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Well, now a lot of people would wonder out there, how can you only have 6 men on the line of scrimmage? One of the wideouts, as he gets out 10-12 yards from the outside of the line, just was back off the ball too far, so they only had 6 men on the line of scrimmage. You got to have 7. And now we're going to see if Bucky Richardson really has that leadership that Jackie Sherrill and the coaching staff feel that he has. They say he's a great leader. He never really gets flustered in there. He needs to gather his composure, set up in there strong, find his receivers or hand the ball off, but take back that confidence. He's been rattled a little bit. Nebraska's playing a fine football game. They have taken charge of this football game in this 3rd and 4th, early in this 4th quarter.
1st and 15. Pitch comes near side. That's Horton. He has got running room. Carries it to the 41-yard line. Lorenzo Hicks, the first man to trip him up, and jumping aboard for good measure, Mark Blazing.
And that's what Richardson does so well, coming in there faking that action. Is he going to keep the ball? It's a dimension that a lot of quarterbacks don't have. It's hard to be a great throwing quarterback and a great running quarterback, and Richardson has that dimension.
2nd and 7 from the 41. Richardson comes to the near side. Again, it's Horton. Spins away from Lorenzo Hicks and right into the hands of Randall Jobman. And it is a 1st down for A&M, I believe.
Perhaps we can look this from the coaching advantage of a Goodyear blimp. The play is going to be to the right of your screen. You're going to see Horton just come out of the backfield. There he is, right there on the 35-yard line, catches the curl. Now he has to make it down inside about to the 33-yard line. He turns and picks up the 1st down.
Indeed he did. 1st and 10, A&M at the Nebraska 33. Again, Horton through the left side. Boy, he followed Richard Webb and L.B. Moon and ran into the hands of Tim Jackson.
Well, the reason we're seeing Larry Horton is we understand that Matt Gurley has strained a right knee and may not return.
And of course, earlier in the ball game, Rod Harris went out with a separated shoulder, and that is one of the fears that I spoke with Jackie Sherrill about yesterday. When you've got a non-conference schedule like the Aggies have, you better come out of these first 4 games healthy. Richardson looking deep. And throws it away. Pass intended for Horton. Well, I'll tell you, Broderick Thomas chased Bucky Richardson all over the playing field.
I tell you, they're running step for step. I don't see any real advantage there. There's a big weight advantage. But look at Broderick Thomas, 89. Drive his man back in. Now he just pours it on. He's got a good angle. There's no turn the corner here. Now, of course, Richardson's trying to pick up his wide receiver. But Broderick Thomas has got great closing speed.
It is 3rd and 5 from the 28. Horton, 1st down to the 15.
Bill, Larry Horton is just a sophomore. He's getting a big opportunity, but Richardson's what makes that play go. He fakes wonderfully into the line, draws the linebacker, and then at the last minute tosses out to Horton. And Horton has come on like a storm. He has easily replaced Matt Gurley in picking up the slack of not having Matt Gurley in there.
Simmons. A year ago, he was redshirted. He is a freshman, and he has certainly gotten the thrill of his collegiate career.
Really has. It really changes the complexion of this football game. Texas A&M, they were about ready to write them off. That big hit on the special teams and that touchdown run and this extra point puts them right back in this football game, 20-14. Now, this is power football on this run. Randy Simmons, just put your head down, burrow in there, keep the feet going, churn, try to see that white stripe and get over. And what a block by Jerry Fontenot, number 67. Great drive blocker.
We'll return with more from the Meadowlands in a moment.
More people are stopping here.
Great statement by Jackie Sherrill. It's better to go after it and succeed than to play not to lose. What he's saying is it's better to play to win. Our halftime guest certainly knew that, Bobby Bowden, when he went for 2 last year. You remember that play?
You know, that's one of those quotes, Dave, that you spend an entire season trying to figure out. And when the season's over, you say to yourself, I didn't mean anything.
No, let me tell you, the winning football coaches, those are the ones that go after it. The easiest thing for Texas A&M was to say, hey, let's play artificial tech here and get off to a good start. But they didn't. They came in here. They've challenged Nebraska. They know the program that Nebraska has. Number 2 ranked in the nation preseason. And they say, hey, if we want to be in the air, that aura of football where Nebraska and all those great teams play, we've got to play them and we've got to win. That's what Jackie Sherrill was saying.
We have just gotten word that A&M has lost its 3rd player of this ball game, its 3rd starter, Darren Lewis, the starting running back, the sophomore from Carter High School in Dallas, out with an injured toe. He will not return. Terry Rogers, he is dangerous at the 12. Dives out to the 37. Now we certainly want to thank the Goodyear Blimp America tonight, skippered by Captain Mark Kynette from Conroe, Texas. Gentlemen, a job well done from high above the Meadowlands.
And there's the picture from high above the Meadowlands. That's a great shot. I think the coaching staff would love to have that continuous shot. I think it'd be a little bit expensive to bring the blimp in for every game, though.
Tell you what, there's some offenses that would probably like their coaching staff in a blimp. From the I formation, it's 1st down and 10 from the 35. Taylor wants to roll right, looking left. Lets it go and throws it out of bounds, and wisely so. Steve Taylor played his high school ball, Dave, at Lincoln High School in San Diego. Another pretty fair quarterback came out of that school. He is now a sensational running back. Heisman Trophy winner Marcus Allen.
Now, I knew that. I was waiting for you to say to me, who was it? And I was going to say Marcus Allen.
You knew that?
No, I didn't really. I think he broke all the records that Marcus Allen had there in high school.
Well, he certainly did. The one thing that Marcus has on Steve is Marcus played in the CIF championship game in San Diego and scored 5 touchdowns in that high school championship game. From the I again, that's Taylor. Starts the pitch, keeps it, makes the last second pitch and throws it out of bounds. Oh my.
Oh boy, that's one he should have brought down and covered it. This is a very dangerous play. Watch to the left of your screen. You're going to see Taylor go down the line. Now he's in the grass right there. Put the ball away, but watch what he does. He flips it behind. If that ball stays in bounds, you can see those white jerseys coming quickly. He gets away with a foolish play, and Tom Osborne, I'm sure, will say when they look at this film Monday morning, don't do that again.
The indecisiveness of the veteran quarterback almost cost the Huskers dearly. We are in a 6-point ball game with 9:59 to play. It is 3rd down and 10. Here come the Aggies. Taylor, 1st down.
That's what happens when you blitz and you don't get to them. When you blitz and you have a seam and you have a quarterback with the ability of a Steve Taylor, you're able to find that seam, which is what Taylor did. Watch this. You'll see the blitz. There's no secondary. You see the blitz right there, 53, 55, they're all going. Once he gets through there, he's out into the clear, and we know about his running ability, and he easily picks up that first down.
That's Rodgers crashing, spinning his way to the 41. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the Raycom Sports and Entertainment Network. .32 remaining in the ball game. We're at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford. Bill Stone with Dave Rowe. It's Nebraska 20, the Aggies of Texas A&M 14. Rodgers to the 37-yard line. Boy, Rodgers built a lot like his dad. 5'7", 170 pounds. Seems funny to see a Cornhusker wearing number 20 again.
It certainly does. Johnny R. Superstar was something else down there. He runs a lot like Metcalf at Texas.
Yes, absolutely.
That same ability. It looks. I've watched Metcalf run doing the Southwest Conference for Raycom last year, and he has that same ability to run that way. Great balance, good looking back, cutting back against the grain. He's got a great future ahead of him. Of course, just a sophomore.
Both Metcalf and Rodgers, the sons of two legends. Taylor. Now he's going to take it out of bounds. Al, a year ago, Dave, Taylor really grew from not just a savvy option quarterback. He became one of the top all-round quarterbacks in college ball.
Well, you can't make a living and go on into the professional ranks if you can't throw the football. You have got to have that diversification. You've got to be able to be a great running quarterback, yes, but you've got to also be able to throw the ball. And he threw last year for 13 touchdowns, so he's able to come back, and when he has to, get that ball downfield and find the wide open wide receivers. But you just can't be one-dimensional today and be on a national championship team, which is what both these teams want to be in the fight for at the end of the season.
Second down and 13 from the 39. Play action. Taylor, all the time in the world, lets it fly. It is caught. Morgan Gregory knocked out of bounds at the 29, short of the first down by about 3.
One of the feelings I have in this game is that we're not calling John Roper and Aaron Wallace's name quite like we did in the first half. In the first half, they were there every play. Now it seems as if they're getting handled a lot better. They're using different play action to negate their great talents. They're able to drop back, play action in there, freeze those linebackers again, and find those wideouts. They're also rolling away from that pressure.
Well, you use the term, I think, the play action by Nebraska in the second half on the part of Steve Taylor has certainly negated Wallace, Roper, Adam Bobb, and Dana Batiste. Well, Batiste, he must have hurt us.
He hurt us. He fought through a block. The up back in this play has got to get that block. He's got to knock Batiste off. Batiste fought through him. He's number 48. Now watch this. You'll see Batiste come to the bottom of your screen, fight through the block, and bam, pick up the running back. Just hold on to anything. That's a great play by that young linebacker, Dana Batiste.
With 7:27 to play in this ball game, Nebraska leading by 6. And they're going to try and up that margin to 9. Here is Greg Barrios. He missed his first from 35 yards in the first period since he has hit on 2. Can he make it 3? Indeed he did. Creeps over the crossbar, and Nebraska has upped the lead again, this time to 9. That'll stop the clock with 7 minutes and 10 seconds to play, but keep in mind, Texas A&M has outscored the opposition 85-21 in the past year in the fourth quarter.
Makes it. Watch Greg Barrios. You think he's going, oh, come on, a little bit farther, a little farther, that's it. Boy, he's got to be excited. Never kicked a field goal for Nebraska before tonight. What a story. To come in here a few hours before the game, he said, I'm going to be over there sitting watching this thing, and now he's made his last 3, missed the first one, came back, got his composure, and now he's made 3 in a row. And he is another one of Tom Osborne's storied walk-ons. They
welcome about 50 of them a year. He told me yesterday at a luncheon that they keep 7 to 9 scholarships every year just for walk-ons. Tom Jenke to kick it away. 7 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the ball game. It's a 9-point lead for the Cornhuskers. That's Garrett at the 13. Oh, he is collared there. Kenny Walker on the tackle.
Well, Phil, there's a lot of time in this football game, and it's not a time to panic for the Texas A&M Aggies. They have got to get back in this football game. They're down 9 points. That's a touchdown on the field goal, and they win this football game. They know that. Their coaching staff on the sideline has instructed them what to do. Now we'll see if they can react.
Bucky Richardson pursued, and it is intercepted. No, says the official.
Well, this is a foolish pass by Richardson. Now see, he gets a little bit flushed, and he's not taking time to stand in the pocket, and he comes right out into Broderick Thomas. Now when he throws the ball, Leroy Etienne almost comes up with it. Look here. Now watch this. Right there's the ball. You can see it just touches the ground. He scoops it back up. Excellent camera work by our crew.
6:58 remaining in the ball game. Richardson pitched to the near side. Horton's got it. Toss it up again. Recovers it again. And he's still on his feet across the 31. Oh.
I want to tell you, the hardest thing for a running back to do is to take that pitch and start bobbling it and try to keep your eye on it to gather it back in, get control of it. Horton took that ball. He looked like an NFL star going around there. He bobbled it. The easiest thing to do is, he was in traffic. The easiest thing to do is to take his eye off and see how he's going to get hit. Look at the traffic he's in. Bobble, bobble, bobble. Gets control of it and picks up nice yardage.
1st and 10 from the 31. Richardson coming near side, underthrows the coverage. The pass intended for Mike Jones to tie it in, and he puts it on the carpet as well. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Now next week, Nebraska is at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln to take on Utah State. While Texas A&M, I'll tell you what,
it doesn't get any easier,
no,
does it?
LSU in Baton Rouge. From the I formation. That's Keith McAfee, the freshman running back. He's hit by Leroy Etienne and Mark Blazik.
I'm a little bit surprised that Jackie Sherrill has not called upon his second-team quarterback, Lance Pavlis. He's an excellent passer. And Bucky is struggling right now. Richardson's struggling at quarterback. Pavlis has got a lot of exposure last year. He started the season for him. But the one thing you don't want to do is crush your young quarterback by taking him out of a big football game. They're still in this football game. All it's going to take is one good pass, and he'll be right back in there.
Richardson throws behind his receiver. Pass intended for Brian Edwards, sophomore wide receiver out of Mobile, Louisiana.
And I see the frustration on Bucky Richardson's face for the first time. It's a very easygoing, happy-go-lucky person. He's upset with himself that time. He threw the ball. He had his wide receiver wide open. He just didn't hit him. And that's the mounting frustration. That's what you get when you're a sophomore.
Sean Wilson. Oh, this is a beauty. At the 21. Taken by Morgan Gregory. And Nebraska has the football. They'll begin from their own 26-yard line. The clock is stopped with 5:39 remaining in the game. We'll be back after these messages. Lands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. You know, Texas A&M, Dave, is rather accustomed to being behind in the 4th quarter. But I'll tell you, they really know how to pour it on when they have to.
Well, they certainly do. They've outscored their opponents drastically last year. And they are a second-half team, mainly because they have such great conditioning. I looked on the sideline, and as I was saying that, I saw Lance Pavlis warming up. So we may, in fact, see him, because obviously Bucky Richardson is struggling quite a lot in his second half.
Talk about the Aggies coming back dramatically in the 4th period. A year ago, they outscored the opposition 85-21. But But right now, it is Nebraska in control of the football and of the football game. 5:32 to play. The clock is running. The Cornhuskers 23, Texas A&M 14.
This is usually where Nebraska pours it on with the clock. They watch the clock tick down. The quarterback has great control. He comes up there. He's got the end zone clock that he's able to look at. And usually now, if you're against Nebraska, and Tom Osborne knows it, you just watch that clock tick down, and they control the ball on the ground.
Second down and 5 from the 31. That's Brian Carpenter, the junior from Olathe, Kansas. He missed a little more than a week and a half with a hamstring. Came back a couple of days ago. Did not know if we would see much of him tonight.
He just got a shot, pretty good shot in the neck there. You can see he's kind of straining a little bit. He got stood right up there. Dana Batiste just rode right up the front of him. Now Batiste is the signal call. You can see him taking the signal from the sideline. He gets the signal. Now he knows exactly what the call. Goes in, makes the call. It's a three-piece call. He calls a line stunt, linebacker coverage, and secondary coverage.
The Huskers from the eye on 3rd and 3.
Well, it's going to be close.
Why Nebraska coming into this ball game 16-6-1 versus Southwest Conference opponents.
Now we're going to have another measurement.
Now Nebraska thinks they got it. And Andy Keeler was right by about 5 inches.
Well, we can see here. Now watch Rogers. He's number 20. He's going to get the ball. Now watch where he runs. See the hole right there in the middle? That's the vision that he has in there. Put the head down. He realizes how far he's got to get. That is an excellent football play. If you've got that vision, you're able to look in that hole and you see where the seam is developing. A lot of times the holes, Phil, aren't straight ahead. They're off to an angle, and you've got to look back to the backside to pick them up.
The give is to Sam Schmidt, junior fullback from Wood River, Nebraska. Texas A&M 23-14. We want to remind our viewers that the telecast of this 1988 Kickoff Classic is a copyrighted presentation of sports. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or the use of video or audio portions of this broadcast are strictly prohibited without the express written consent of Raycom Sports. Third down and 12 from the 34. Terry Rogers got the call. Apparently is not happy with some extracurricular activity going on in the pileup.
Well, Phil, we talked about what Nebraska had to do to win this football game, and I really think that they have done it. They strengthened their defensive front four. Steve Taylor has taken control, and they did get that contribution. You know, early in the game we kept on saying that they had to mature, and they really did mature. They were able to take control of this football game in the second half. But really the question has been, or the answer has been, Steve Taylor. He has run the ball. He's had a very heady game. He's found his wide receivers open, and he really has done an excellent job so far.
This is Croker's first punt of the second half. Here come the A&M Aggies, and a flag is down. Croker is down. It'll be roughing the punter. Now Croker's all right. The Aggie that hit him is getting up slowly. But for the Cornhuskers, they'll retain possession.
Now the difference is here, was he blocked into him? And the answer is no. You can see that he's going to roll into him from the left side. Wow. John Croker is lucky he didn't tear something on that. He got hit in a spread position, and that's the most vulnerable position for a punter, when he's got that leg high and he's driving into that kick.
We have roughing the kicker on the defense. Automatic first down.
2:18 to play in the ball game. I'll tell you one thing. For Texas A&M, they returned 13 starters from a year ago, and I'll tell you what, Jackie Sherrill, I think, is poised to make one heck of a run at his 4th Southwest Conference title, David.
Oh, absolutely. He's got an excellent football team, and he should be well ranked up there. This is not the end of the season for Texas A&M. They realize that this is just the start of the season. They are traditionally a slow starting team, but once they roll into conference play, they roar through conference play. Nebraska is a very quick team, and they were ranked number 2 in the nation coming in here, and they weren't ranked number 2 because they didn't have a great football team.
That was Sam Schmidt moving it across the midfield stripe. Well, you look at the top 10 as you head into this 1988 college football season. The Seminoles of Florida State, we heard from Bobby Bowden at halftime, followed by Nebraska, their arch-rival Oklahoma, then Clemson. UCLA with Troy Aikman at quarterback. USC with Rodney Peete calling the signals. Then Auburn, Miami. Miami will take on Florida State next Saturday. And then the Hawkeyes of Iowa and the Aggies of A&M ranked 10th.
And Phil, both coaches felt that this game would not hurt them if they lost. Both of them said that in their interviews. They said, hey, it doesn't make a difference if we lose. Sure, we want to win. But both teams were showcased. They're on national television here on Raycom Sports, and they have done themselves proud. They're two excellent staffs, and they realize the importance of this game. You only get so many opportunities to play in a game of this magnitude.
Al Jackie, he has won 22 of his last Southwest Conference games. Well, that's saying something.
It certainly is.
Third down and 5 from the 44. Taylor still trying to put it up. Does so. Throws it to the far side. It is complete. Morgan Gregory, who a year ago as a sophomore caught 6 passes all year long, has just caught his 4th of the first game of the '88 season.
And that's a little bit of a surprise to me. I thought for sure there's no sense in taking chances when you're in this situation. But maybe when you have a quarterback that has the abilities of Steve Taylor, maybe you don't call that a chance. But that's an out pattern. If it's intercepted, they roar down the sideline and they strike up the band. Now we're going to see a run.
Ken Clark on the carry. Now for Clark, that is the 20th time he has carried the football tonight. And he has amassed 81 yards. Clock stopped with 49 seconds to play. We'll be back with more right after these messages from your local station.
They have dominated the Southwest Conference in play. So his football team will answer the call. Maybe he'll get another little call from his son saying, hey, Daddy, that's enough losses this year. Of course, his son last year, after they lost their first 2 games, or 2 of their first 3, said, Daddy, that's 2 losses. That's enough.
Taylor down on a knee, trying to get that clock to run. 47-46. Now the executive producer of Raycom Sports and producer of tonight's game is Peter Rolfe. The telecast of the 1988 Kickoff Classic has been directed by Lonnie Dale. Our technical director, Ron Davis, and our associate producer, David Handler. Now for Jackie, he knew this was going to be a tough road to hoe in 1988. Not only is he the head football coach, he is also the athletic director, and I would assume had a great deal to do with putting together the schedule.
Yes, he certainly did. Well, we talked about what A&M must do to win the football game. They did a lot tonight. They were able to sustain drives a little bit, but they just did not force Nebraska in the second half wide, and Nebraska was able to use the center of the field and just control it.
Final score, Nebraska 23, Texas A&M 14.